Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Hello guys, welcome to Toasted. I'm your host Gabe, and today we are making homemade Doritos. Yes, we are making homemade Doritos. You heard me. We are making the original Doritos. We're making the original nacho cheddar and my personal favorite, the Cool Ranch Doritos. Let's do this. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get your powders ready. The first one we're going to start with is our cheddar powder. And yes, you can actually make this. So the first thing you need is a bag of any cheddar cheese that you want. I'm just using sharp cheddar. You need your oven set to 350, and you need a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna take a half pound of cheese and spread it out over your baking sheet, and then we're going to bake this until it gets crispy. Then once it gets crispy, then we're going to let it cool down, and then we're gonna break it up and crush it up in our food processor. So while we got our cheese in the oven, we're gonna make our ranch seasoning. So this particular recipe makes close to about a half cup of the seasoning. So the first thing you wanna start with is you wanna start with a quarter cup of dried buttermilk. Now I'm putting this in a blender because I want to make sure that all the spices are incorporated well, and because of some of the ingredients that we're going to use, they're kind of whole, and so I want them to be ground up into a powder. Speaking of which, we need a half teaspoon of dried chives. We need a half teaspoon of dried dill, a half teaspoon of onion powder. We need a half teaspoon of garlic powder. We need a half teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're gonna just pulse this for a few seconds. You wanna add about a teaspoon of parsley. Before Uncle Roger finds this video and hounds me for it, I've learned that the all-important ingredient and most important ingredient in any food is the one and the only MSG. So we're going to put about a teaspoon of MSG in here. So there you have it. You have your ranch seasoning. Now I added just a tidbit more salt because I like my stuff nice and salty. But there you have it. So our cheese is nice and crispy. We're going to let this cool completely. You can put it in your refrigerator to cool faster, or you can put it in your freezer to cool faster. You just need this to be completely cool. So while we wait on our cheese to cool, we should probably make the chips. So let's go ahead and do that. So for this, it's very simple. All you need is white corn tortillas, and all we're gonna do is cut these into triangles. Now you can either fry these in oil at 350, or you can do what I'm doing, which is I'm going to bake them at 350. All right, so we're gonna take our triangles, and you wanna lay them out over your baking sheet. You want them to be close together, but you don't want them to overlap so that they cook evenly. Now we're gonna take some vegetable oil. Okay, then we're gonna throw these in our oven until they get nice and crispy. Alright, so our chips are just about done. Let's go ahead and make our cheese powder. And then when we're ready, we'll put it in our food processor with a little bit of cornstarch, and then we'll be ready to make some Doritos. So we have our cheese disc. We're gonna tear it up in chunks. Next, we're gonna add about a half teaspoon of cornstarch. Okay, one last ingredient, of course, MSG. So there you have it, cheese powder. So let's make some Doritos. So we're gonna toss a handful of our chips in the ranch seasoning, and then we're gonna toss another handful in our cheese seasoning, and then we're gonna try them out and see how we did. And you wanna do this when they're hot so that everything sticks. So for the cheese powder, I ended up using a lot more than a teaspoon. Or half teaspoon, because it caked really, really bad. So you just use enough cornstarch until it stops caking. So that was a good sauce. It smells good. Alright, so we have our Doritos. Let's give these a shot and see how I did. So first, we got our Cool Ranch Dorito. Those are Doritos. Yeah, these are Doritos, and it's the MSG. Let's be real. I mean, I tasted it without. It's the MSG. This is amazing. So good. All right, next, let's try our nacho cheese Doritos. Cheers. Not bad. Again, MSG makes it so much better, but I'd probably use a little bit sharper cheese just to give it that strong cheese flavor that it needs. But the regular cheese is pretty good. Yeah, these are pretty good. Like I said, for that authentic Dorito, you probably want to use a sharper cheese. But no, very solid, very good stuff. I'm actually impressed because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But of course, MSG for the win. So what do you know? Alright guys, there you have it. Homemade Doritos. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.